been trending.
Creepy
Well,
weird place.
experts are baffled.
Okay.
It's a mystery, and I'm calling it an actual mermaid that washed up on the beach.
Oh, good lord.
So have you ever seen a mermaid? And like, I'm not talking mermaids for hire, I'm not talking Ariel, I'm not talking any of the H2O girlies. I'm talking an actual living mermaid that scared the bejeebus out of you. Well, let me know in the comments if you have, and it's time to see if any of your facts match up with my facts. Because I know. Let's go back through time. It all started with John Smith and a mermaid? So upon reading numerous peer-reviewed sources, one expert historian kept coming across a quote from John Smith, where after arriving in the West Indies back in 1614, the intrepid explorer spied a woman swimming just offshore. Declaring the woman by no means unattractive, Smith began to feel the early pangs of love as his green-haired crush continued to splash about. But when she dove, he was horrified to realize that she was, in fact, a mermaid. There you have it, folks. Plain as day. John Smith. Mermaids. I even have the full quote. Swimming with all possible grace near the shore, the upper part of her body resembled that of a woman. She had large eyes, rather too round, a finely shaped nose, a little too short, well-formed ears, rather too long, and her green hair imparted to her an original character by no means unattractive, but from below the waist the woman gave way to the fish. Well, that sounds like a pretty physical description that's detailed of a typical mermaid, so 2 + 2 = 4? Essential work on planned reservoirs in Zimbabwe has been stopped, or was stopped for quite a period of time, because mermaids were hounding workers away, at least according to the country's water resources minister. So Samuel Sipepa Nkomo told a Zimbabwean parliamentary committee that terrified workers were refusing to return to the sites. This was near the towns of Gokwe and Mutare. He said, and I quote, "All the officers I have sent have vowed not to go back there." Now, he said this in the state-approved newspaper. Now, opinion about the existence of mermaid kind of varies throughout Zimbabwe. Some folks are skeptical, but a lot of folks firmly believe that mermaids exist there. Dating back centuries, a lot of mermaid stories make their rounds. One tale claims that mermaids can carry humans underwater, but if there's public outcry, their relatives might never see them again. Now, another tale suggests victims can return as spirit mediums if their disappearance is not mourned. Now, the senior politician said that mermaids were also present in other reservoirs. And he said, "We even hired white men thinking that our boys didn't want to work. The white men also returned saying they would not return to work there again because of the mermaids." Now, I get it. You want your home to be your home, and you're going to want to scare off any intruders. It makes sense to me. Professional scuba diver Robert Foster was diving alone in Florida back in 1988 looking for mysterious undersea formations when he noticed a disturbance in the water. Now when he turned to look, he saw a very vague, very shadowy figure slashing towards him. All around him the water had begun to churn wildly, and clouds of sediment were swirling. As the creature rushed towards him, it appeared to sort of undulate rather than glide. And when the fast-moving form got within, 20 yards of him, he noticed something odd. So it had appendages like arms. They seemed to be reaching out towards him, and at the end of each arm appeared to be sharply taloned hands, which, oh boy, weapons! He then saw the creature in full view. He saw the long flowing hair, the smooth skin, and scaled waist, and scaled tail from the waist down. He said it appeared to be half woman, half fish. "I've never seen such evil hate in the eyes of any human or animal before." Well, we're gonna withhold comment on that one. Before the creature could reach him, this man bolted up towards the surface and was able to scamper over the side of his craft to safety, and he never saw the creature again. And after that description, do you really think you're gonna want to meet somebody with that hatred, that evil hatred in their eyes towards you ever again? Come on, pal. A book published in 2013 charting a whole host of unexplained mysteries in Devon included a historic sighting of a mermaid. So this being was spotted swimming off of Exmouth and has been included in this crazy new book. So the book is written by one Daniel Codd, and it's packed full of weird and wonderful stories from across the county, which have been researched and compiled from archives. So they've been passed down, they've been around, and a lot of these are first-hand accounts. And they're from normal people. They're not from anybody that's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make my life dedicated to this stuff. Ooh, I know fairy tales." It's just folks that lived in the county and saw something and reported it. The tale of the mermaid dates back to August of 1812, when a sea creature was spotted. It was like a mile offshore. A man called Mr. Toupin was with a group on a sailing trip, and they heard music. And then they saw a creature, human-like with a fish tail. I know you know the descriptor, but we gotta go over it, folks. This account said the group was drawn to a singular noise, impossible to describe fully, but comparable to a wild, tinkling harpsichord melody. And then the party spotted something human-like diving and twisting in the water. When the group unsuccessfully tried to attract the creature, they threw boiled fish into the water, which did draw the creature nearer. And then They said it was no other than a mermaid. There was a very detailed description of the creature, and it reads as follows. It had a long oval face, seal-like but more agreeable, and hair seemed to crown its upper and back head. Now, there is no suggestion she was attractive, more like an animal whose upper arms were covered with a soft fawn or a pinkish down. It did possess 2 arms, which it had used to great agility, and this ended in 4 webbed figures, and this terminated in 4 webbed fingers on each hand. So, no thumbs, folks. Its waist tapered gradually to form a tail, which bore the appearance of shiny scales, while its back bore something like feathers. Now, in length, it was about 5.5 feet, and appeared to be cavorting playfully near the vessel, before, after 3 quick plunges, it swam away rapidly and was lost to sight. Well, with what we know about mermaids luring people to the end of their lives, with the talent hands, and so forth and so on, did you really want it to come any closer? You probably wouldn't have lived to tell the tale. So this next story is anonymous, but I've seen it backed up by enough experts to prove its validity. So our witness for this story nearly slid into the river while trying to cross on some protruding rocks. Now, it was by no means a roaring river, but once again, I'm not a river crossing expert. So it was this witness's first time in Haywood Hall in St. Mary, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go exploring. Now, it had rained earlier in the day, so everything was muddy and slippery, and goodness help this person. It was while crossing a small bridge near a community bar that our witness met Ornell. Now, Ornell was not big on conversation, but he did offer to tell a secret about a river that ran through the community. Granted, he was like, hey, I would like a drink first. He's like, oh, my brain doesn't really wake up yet, you know? After a drink, I start to function. Then I could tell you something about the river, but not a word until I get my drink. Now look, a man knows what he wants, get him what he wants, and our witness did. But before he did, he said, oh, I live around this place for quite a while. It's, kind of quiet, but the river does have a whole heap of mermaids. And then our witness was like, whoa, was that the secret? And Ornell was like, yeah, man, pretty casually. Now, our witness was like, well, you gave away the secret before you got the drink. And then Ornell kind of went blank. He was like, oh no. Oh, he was stuttering. Now, the witness was like, you know what, no worries. It's fine, I will still get you a drink. And Ornell was grateful. He did say thank you many, many times, and he felt relieved. So it's like, what did he need the drink for to tell the secret? So after a short walk, the 2 guys were at the bar. It was really just a shed with a fridge overlooking the river, but it had a nice atmosphere. And Ornell signaled to a girl sitting on a stool near the fridge, and she handed him a bottle of something. And then our witness walked closer to the river. And that's when Ornell elaborated. So the river ran right across the road further down. And he said, it's a nice river, good for a bath. He said, I jump in it a couple of times a day, just throw everything off, jump in. And the witness was like, okay, I don't need a detailed description of your bathing ritual, so he asked more about the mermaids. And Ornell replied, yeah, man, enough of the mermaids. When I was younger, I used to see a whole heap of them. And he's like, oh, you think a little mermaid's gonna, be in the river with them? And he's like, oh, no, that's too easy. Now, our witness was a little skeptical, but then the woman behind the counter spoke up. And she's like, no, it's true, She was adjusting. She's like, my father was telling me about it from the moment I was young. They said there was one mermaid there, and she's passed away now. But I used to see her all the time. And, the witness was rightfully puzzled, but it was like, no, true. They say it's the same mermaid who used to be in the flat bridge, and they swam there because it was quieter. And she used to never believe it, but then she saw her. And it was just so much that people couldn't make up the story. So make of that what you will, folks. I've been Alexa, your resident ookie spooky girly. See ya!